Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing a brief idea about complex number. It is rather a brief revision of complex numbers. So before we go into what complex numbers are, this is a part of mathematical physics. I think complex numbers are usually studied in third semester or second year BSc honors physics classes. So I'll be talking in Manipuri so that you understand better. Howdringaisida in khangning mathematical physics habsi karino. Mathematical physics I target field of science ni kidoba. Mathematical tools sizinaraga tools and techniques I tarine sizinaraga akhoi physics ki problem understand taunaba amadi solve taunaba laiba field ne. So karigino koina mathematical physics study to visai targati makhalje maramje mayam leikre koina seja tamaktoi kai no hai targati infinite series power series Taylor series kan makan mayam leikre function makan damakani functions gamma function beta Dirac and delta functions then vectors ki matang da koi tamakani vector calculus curvilinear coordinate like a plane polar have a cylindrical have a spherical coordinates ma'am tamakani natra. Then we have linear algebra spherical vector spaces like matrices eigenvalue problems, then differential equations, series solution of different differential equations, Fourier series, integral transforms. Koina hojik tawdoisina complex variables ne seisida koina tamaktoise Cauchy Riemann equations, Taylor Lorentz series, residues makan mayam leire adu mayam da hodokna ba na introduction to complex number introduction makti hai roige noi class 12 ta sungsoi soi nan tamam mani maths ta brief revision ai tar koin tawdoise. So calculation of variation the makani probability theory stochastic processes mathematical physics the mayam tame si mayam jagi doba physics ta sinarak physics understand dongna ba mdi maun da yoiba problem mayam the solve dongna the question aduine koi gi focus the complex variable sigi matang jada haitare. So question amazu hangbi ai hodringai sida what is mathematics doing in a physics lecture? Physics ki lectures the mathematics se kari tawrami bano yam live answer hai taragadi ma se very important tool lamane na hai but maths ki tool ki formula gi hai taragadi minute ani the formula to ithokraga dum lotion bi ai natra atopa maram hai taragadi theoretical physics to matamda theoretical physics to matamda all laws can be written in mathematical form. Laws kudimak mathematical form the ibayay si hayong understand tong. So Richard Feynman harami do si iba ithokpa yari say does it not have a certain simplicity and beauty about it? Simplicity amalize say sidani phazaba ma lady say physics ki. So in another words mathematics kai daramino hai targadi understand nature tongna bhonaba matamda it may be necessary to have a deeper understanding of mathematical relationship to understand nature je ko understand da bujina ko physics na tamize se understand da gai targadi maths daka tarame adugini ko koi mathematical physics ana tamise. So let's start very simple. Akoina maths da tamgibada hai taragadi addition a plus b equal to c am lare subtraction is na mag inverse oidoini b hai taragadi tare c minus a am lare multiplication hai taragadi a ga b ga into to was c tadoini natra division magi opposite inverse hai tare b ba mani ga tare c by a. Then we have also power b to the power a equal to c. Power gidi root na koina long nai b pa men khalo doi targadi combine pa gam tam 8 root of c in iko square root of c is in a 2 or mati 3 or when a cube root of c either 8 root of c. Power gidi atopa masulari, let's say a to the power b equal to c is in a 2 nang khalasi c is in a 8 nang khalasi c gi akoi gi b se pa men khalo 2 gi power se kya no 8 ta gi hai taragadi na hang taragadi koina logdoisi logarithm. So b is equal to log a of c. So mine power gidi my inverse log or as we iko these are some simple one maths horokpagi. So maths the sinaba number system kharazudum yengamsi koina real number system ana leibudo natural number hai taragadi combine tore natural number hai taragadi 1 2 3 and so on. So sidagi ahen bhapsalake di negative oiba integers plus 0 hapsalakta doi taragadi -1 -2 and so on and 0. Sidagi rational or rational bananze mandre tion a rational or rational number or even fraction and ISVI rational number I target number which can be put in a form a by b in the Buddha, and this b cannot be 0 b 0 infinite or undefined and la anidana integer is in a b is in a 1 or a kind of number z integer na khangai ko rational ai bagangum leire and then akoina tamisi irrational and kangum ju tamiko irrational numbers and like karam number root 2 gumba pi gumba moi singjidi a by b de express to we yade nang na pi je 22 by 7 nang khalam by 22 by 7 is approximately not exact. And then sidasu irrational na khangare kaino na hage tormdo kaure rational ga irrational ga ni je punjalaga khoina real number na khanga. So graphical representation masam to ke graph type tare may I 0 1 2 3 4 booking hamage -1 -2 -3 let's say -4 tamase so is it 3 by 4 iron so then like to root 2 adi 1.14 pi adi 3.14 so then like to negative kita khana ro -1.5 is the or -3 by 2 so I like that. And then so is the -2 root 3 chauraqpani koi note lise. So this is simple oiba graphical representation ai tare about real numbers. So sigi real numbers je sinaraga equation khudimak se loinamak represent tawung ngamdre loinamak se solve tawung ngamde sidagi hendorakpa khara mu number khara daka tari sigi number je karino haiba matamda complex number na laktoine. The need for complex numbers. How so? So let's say x square plus 1 equal to 0. X adi kya ata raha hai? Minus 1 laye thangakpagi square je log to ke di square root. Akoina real number system sidadi squares na minus tarak 5 se yade. Si yade sigi sidagi niko akoina complex number gi nit hogi se. So the square of no rational or irrational is minus 1. Therefore, koi complex number and quadratic equation amagamu yengsine. So for example, x square minus 4x plus 5 equal to 0 has it. So quadratic formula is in a x equal to minus b minus 4 plus 1 plus or minus b square minus 4 ax negative twice ac and twice a kadara so maina la ani si akoina solve to matam na tarak to ise so maina tare ai je hana solve to leibe amadagi taklang irakpani ko so maina so sidai sida minus ana thole jorba paramita tar is sigi root of minus 1 je koina I ne represent to ko sidai sida ina I ni is so root 2 je 2 je ka nagraga 2 plus minus I ne le hok de x ki value je so sigi sida thole is sigi I je kai ga mana gi di root over minus 1 root over minus 1 je koina imaginary unit na su khangnai natraga unit imaginary number na khangnai or simply iota an judum hainabni ko koina iota I je so sometimes I having mutta ko engineers in disi z na su sinanamni ko z na su noina thengnaramba yare di shorty bridge ke kamyam experiment ke ka torku matamda xc means capacitive reactance to 1 by omega c oidana se sida noina z na apa thengnaramba ya in z sigi role jini ko mana lawise minus 1 ba 1 da duna koi gi keno do v vector ga I vector ga kanana 90 degree out of phase han ba han da ba dum yam da tak pugine so z ju sinai hairam bai wa khaktani sei sida so I see ke yam changsel loisi and so Swice the native historically most puzzling the guy why the laki target cube root the life. So adu tanga so bironge. So consider this equation x cube plus twice x square minus x equal to 2. Say inspection by inspection hapsa laga numbers of hapsa laga yeng matam jida magi roots hai. My solution is 3 real roots like plus or minus 1 and minus 2 1 hapasu minus 1 hapasu 2 hapasu equations hai chumani. But akoina cubic equation sinaraga formula sinaraga root ki cube root ki formula sinaraga hotpa matamdadi negative 1 negative of several numbers thole haitare square root of negative numbers step mayam thole sina takning isi kaino occurrence of imaginary number does not invalidate any of the formula. See step solve to matamsida root of minus some number 1 magnatrazu number mayam thole adubu answer di sekta tar aduna haibadi negative of some number thole line manate akhoi gi formula da soil laite man. And then more complicated polynomials like sidi magi kenose degree is 3 gatani 19 oiren khalo 19 degree or even 17 oiren khalo adu thola kanda di root atopa anova complex number tholbada ka taribra di tadre. So sidai sigi tholi jinane enough way haitare. So with the invention of this imaginary unit I equal to root over minus 1, every algebraic equation can be solved. Solved tong ngamdab kem layer right. Anadi layer me, hosiki layer right. So noya thengnara mani fundamental theorem of algebra. Fundamental theorem of algebra. Fundamental theorem of algebra is in high nth degree polynomial equation laitaragadi magi n roots laini have complex number yaugera yaurere selum sumdog laire. Now complex numbers karino sorak we yengsi we'll see about complex number yam something yengsi formally takbanate yam informal oinani ko intaisa noina phat yengjabada ningjangbada nungaina bana number ama c equal to a plus ib and consider tawse sida e ni is I yaudedana sigi je koina re c ni kai haino real part of c haini ko sida le is sina koina I am c nai sigi jina karino ai taragadi imaginary part of c. So first term, second term is the real part, I observe imaginary part. Mujikta in a pan give the moigi I mota z na su represent the win high engineer ambana engineering course kame amna de kaigino hai taragadi I is a current sinaba yamana electric current. Complex numbers akoina tamisi karino hai tarag complex numbers sinaba maduki matik laigre ko mofam no quantum mechanics torpada electrodynamics torpada oscillation waves makal mayam the mayam sinarkani even current electricity gi dugi torpa mayam am the electrodynamics the hai tarene ado electrodynamics the current yarkani current the I is naidana confused tawdana bana z na su sinana havida. So anyway sigi is in a 0 or is in a 0 target IB kangai horeko IB kangai hok taragadi akoina kai haibi are so there is a imaginary number in a higher name or purely imaginary number so imaginary in a higher maming je taina horokpada sigi idea je butorokpada mayamna opposed to win high aduki matik opposed to win high adubu kona thangnadi si accept or kibagi wari ju laiko so hojiki di kaino hana yengisi two complex number, let's say any khanarjine c1 haibamga c2 haibamga managi hai taragadi magi real part se managadaba and imaginary part se managadaba. Sida leiba mayek se say if and only if I go c1 equals c2 if and only if a1 equals a2 and b1 equals b2. Addition the yam line at the vi c equal to c1 plus c2 a1 plus ib1 2 plus ib2 real ani punjana biro imaginary ani punjana biro line subtraction dasu saman doine c1 minus c2 hairo a1 minus a2 lakani b1 minus b2 lakani yam line. So I should have when you go to the magi powers the makara section batar. So I hate targadi minus 1. The square ka targadi square root the square amladi minus 1. Square root of I is minus 1. Cube lag targadi square amga I am going to do in minus I to the power 4 at the I need to I square and into the one minus 1 at the 1 tada see kanga the ate makata the loy magyarni I to the power 5 at the I to the power 4 equal to I 6 I target the a zero I ne square anga 4 anga doron the minus 1 7 है the cube 4 minus I samsamigo. So khara so one talk target the mind to we let's say I to the power 49 है do target the कोई ना yengu से I to the power 41 in a kangidana now 4 into to buda quite not 49 and the 48 on I to the power 4 to the power 12 I to the power 1 punjala de 49 da doi ba is the more 1 sa khrani de kai kang hai ore I sumai I to the power 103 hai 100 I to the power into 25 plus 3 I to the power 3 da doi na tra I to the power 3 de minus I sumai what be line and addition subtract multiplication so yang hogzi multiplication da into thang cross product na ko into a square plus I b2 a1 a2 later plus I jan thamge a1 b2 manamu mangondam to we one ide samsam plus I a2 b1 plus I square is minus 1 1 itu ni ko b1 b2 so kita a1 a2 c is minus 1 grani minus b1 b2 mo ini sebut lagi I common log thoke a1 b2 minus plus a2 b1 minus yaw dasu minus thole abus division dasu yang bi ai division dasu yang si a1 plus I b1 a2 plus I b2 noi na dum wala su ya do bone b1 a2 plus I b2 hojikne makhagi conjugate hai conjugate hojik haira dongni ko ina a2 minus I b2 jina mathak makha ani maksi into tawget sumaina so mathak ta kai tare intuition samna dam tawge samaroige minus I a1 b2 plus I a2 b1 minus I square b1 b2 makha di a square minus b square gi mong da leire whole square kai tare hojikti a1 a2 maningi se soina gana torke plus lani b1 b2 zi manung zida minus soina sanghan grage a2 b1 minus a1 b2 makha di a2 square plus b2 square I square is minus 1 dollar 20 dana so sumain tare so setong na thamasu yare sumai laser su yare sida aina sinari je si plus ni amana minus sinari dana si je koina complex conjugate na khangai so ma se minus star am jam nei natragana mathakta bar ma hapiko a minus ib sumaina sigi complex number ziga magi conjugate siga sumaina into tongna targadi a plus ib a minus ib makhada kai tarake square plus b square sumaina tare sidagi term amaga muk khangukji modulus or absolute value or samna magnitude of c si magnitude log taragadi a plus ib sigi magnitude log doini kai manarake bu magi complex number ga conjugate ka gi square root siga manarakte this is equal to a square plus b square square root of a square plus b square so I sidagi koina kari tahalakpa su yai haradi 1 by cz star divided by this isu khangjan hobu yai ko angka masa amtang hotsi sumai to ngai sida duga complex plane kaino dong harke say c1 this might be again and c2 is na 2 minus 3i fine c1 c2 modulus of c1 c2 and modulus of c1 by c2 sigi modulus siputo na hai se si I ni ko kaman puto kane c1 is equal to c2 c1 c2 into jana putok tare ne minus 1 plus I formula do phari tak long sina be are formula do khangdragana into tawbira loire formula ne sine jidi minus 1 minus 3 plus 1 2 noi de kai ta hore 3 plus 2 are mane ko 5i sumai ta hode sitara di koina pami jidi modulus ni natra c1 c2 ge doidi square root of 1 square plus 5 square 25 plus root 26 tare so I'm going to have c1 c2 gi yung si ko c1 c2 di kai no minus 1 plus I ne 2 minus 3 I ne sida ai formula je direct tak long panjala ki ko minus 1 ne 2 ne 1 ne minus 3 ne plus I erga 2 ne 1 ne minus 1 ga minus 3 ga 2 square minus 3 is makhagi do a2 square plus b2 square na legim niko formula do hangalek te yengu natraga kara koi tho tor su gam kaide mathak sida minus 5 plus plus natte minus I tarakadaba divided by makha sida 13 so magi modulus pam taragadi mathak su modulus logdoini makha su modulus logdoini 1 square divided by root 26 divided by 13 so minus what pi so koi division in a tak tawisi complex plane nam lai ko complex plane je koi na Argand diagram an zu khang nei Argand ai jina mi maming ni complex number what number je mi ani na holam bani amna Argand ko wi amaduna maming je kaugre adugi magi honored hai tare complex plane je koi na Argand plane na khang nei se gisina y ho lage masina x ho lage x y gi plane je sida leba plane je x ka y ga ni sina leido plane je sigi sini ko koina Argand plane na haise koina tawgibada point am kanar se let's say sigi point je machu je honge point je kanar ge point z kar ge x plus iy yaiko x plus iy sigi asang je dot sida legadab sigi asang je simagi modulus to mana doine x square plus y square sigi sida di x imaginary yaugde natra sigi se koina real axis na khangai y is an imaginary yawi and therefore imaginary axis na khangai ko sida laiba xy plane z xy plane z sigi jeni complex plane natraga Argand diagram na khangai se karigino si diagram je ko yaudoi karigino sin doi se ai taragadi yengo jik torage diagram do so koi tinjan bai ai buko complex number ani khanar jine mana z1 korge mana z2 korge ani je graphically tinjala haradi koina kai dongni hai matamda parallelogram law do saman ma vector dinate the parallelogram law di saman obeta web so parallelogram ai taragadi parallelogram ma yaksalani natra parallelogram yaksalani magi diagonal to z1 plus z2 ga mana do besu yam sammi this is going to be x-axis this is y-axis koina na khangjabda so I should have excelum again say the z nam Leightin khala se z ki negative of this number hai taragadi magi reflection through the origin indana origin dagi reflect to by the opposite sangu sa manadong ko angle sa manana this is negative z x y sigizina negative of complex number negative and thazari se si natabada magi conjugate yang taragadi complex conjugate yang taragadi kyanai samsamba complex conjugate let's say the z yang taragadi magi direct opposite sumaina sangu manadong niko z in the star and sumaina kapage sumaina this is the complex conjugate reflection through x-axis hoigadaba conjugate kina negative hoigana reflection through the origin hoigadaba sumaina lay so graph se chorak khangamnina graph ki question amtang yang hausi samsamba determine the curve in the complex plane that is described by this sila describe tauba curve to niko ko determine tauba say solution da ani toksi equal to 2 z and z manung da yam do je kaino z in the yam do je x plus iy complex number ni na equal to 2 sidagi di real gi part am khandok piro -1 sema imaginary am tongan thambiro equal to 2 si modulus ni modulus hoitaragadi square root of this imaginary real and imaginary part equal to 2 square root se log to di x minus 1 whole square plus y square equal to 4 sidai the lay equation is the equation of a circle ne radius na kayo gadaba radius na si 2 square na tra radius na 2 hoigadaba so graphically ko ni yek taragadi so I am take pick that na yes yek sumaina circle ne hairne circle hani hoge so 1 2 minus 1 1 center se kai wide laigadan no maham tamjida sidagi yangde x ki value di 1 y ki di 0 sigi jina kai determine to ge sidagi ni ko lai ja center sidalari ko center ja radius ina kya gadaba radius ina 2 seji buk 1 ni seji buk 2 radius ina 2 gadaba center se sidagida sigi curve sine going to determine the curve in the complex plane then described by describe the curve with this one x hello y hello so chamana ba sidagi kitang semdok pa hai tare ne sinamang ige determine the set of points in the complex plane that is described by this hojiki equation do ni ko haisida less than or equal to on thokrise do di kamai to yare x minus 1 whole square plus y square less than or equal to 4 sine bata kuis ta kise sina haibadi set of points less than sida laiba graph se sida laiba circle se sigi manung da laiba point kudimak se si manung da laiba hendo ko yade ko ai yek pa hendo so manung da laiba point myam se si oide magi answers anyway samsam mga tani form amaga hong hayake polar form anam like complex number ki polar form anam polar form is ani laibni ko amaga na hayake ge z r an thonge si angles in a theta an thonge x axis y axis masak se yengwe dum khanga mani da x axis da component na khaido book da component da khaido pudi na te ko hoin khaido book da x component di r cos theta theta ga thang labje cos la ani thang nauk da je sin la ani z se kamai bi are de r cos theta plus I sin theta sida laiba form je sigisine ko polar form na ise sida laiba r je kai ga mana doina ma gi object to modulus ka mana gimni x square plus y square ko hola jum tar kani ko sida laiba theta je angle theta je se koina argument of z ki argument of that complex number z na khangai ko sigi r je koina object ta khange mana modulus of z maming je to miram jira argument or even amplitude na ju khangnam ni ko amplitude of z sina modulus of z magi complex conjugate so koina iramba yai sumaina r theta z r minus theta oh soidagi sidagi adum yengasu khangba yare tan theta itaragadi y by x ni ko sigi koina argument puthokningasu haitare question holaga ekta yengsi express z equal to I in polar form da si ula u ai di kamai tong ni say z is equal to minus 1 plus I magi modulus t 1 square plus 1 square root 2 theta pa mani tan theta dai ne koina hoto 1 divided by minus 1 theta da minus 1 ta by the 3 pi by 4 so magi polar from the u already so the r ire already z ani already root 2 cos 3 pi by 4 plus I sin 3 pi by 4 or in kona chamanaba polar form sigise express tor ki ko ina ni thongne yae na so haigib do so graphically jo koi sum yek thom je na khang ba hen na ba si lai re na so minus 1 plus I have ni this z equal to minus 1 plus I si sang se root 2 sang da ba si angle z equal to ta hai gre 3 pi by 4 x axis ni y axis ni. This is complex number in polar form. So mine lay sidagi diya koi geometrical interpretation karadum to we ai geometrical interpretation of the product of two complex numbers as in z1 z2 r1 cos theta 1 plus I sin theta 1 r2 cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2 hai se bogo so sum na into to see cos theta 1 theta 2 1 sin theta 2 into to re I sin theta 1 cos theta 2 I square la n atra theta 1 sin theta 2 I yaw da ton tham bi re so han by cos theta 1 cos theta 2 minus 1 greco square se sin theta 1 sin theta 2 plus I je kam log to hai cos theta 1 sin theta 2 plus sin theta 1 cos theta 2 chumim na 3 ni jibo la su samdok se admai ru r1 r2 so cos theta 1 plus theta 2 formula je on thok ba re ba I sin theta 1 plus theta 2 cos a plus b sin a plus b da 1 by r smile. So it is obtained by obtained from z1 and z2 the by multiplying the moduli and adding the two polar angles. So geometrical interpretation hayu hai targadi ani gi product hai bze kamai tore multiply to is kaino magi modulus ani do into tore and then polar angle ma'am do add to budu ne sigizini ko geometrical interpretation hai targadi. And another thing is using I get iota I get as an operator. Tim ju kung sen hobo kana bani z and laser sano cd r cos theta plus I sin theta. So I katang thamba je koi 0 plus I in thamba yai nadra 0 se cos pi by 2 cos 90 is 0 then I sin the 0 pi by 2 90 to 1 nadra sumaina thamba yai I ga z kam into to jine du de r cos theta plus I sin theta z hani be wani goina and then cos pi by 2 pi by 2 with r cos cái ta này into to de theta plus pi by 2 hojek to budho ki ni ko I sin theta plus pi by 2 sin hiding is okay now when a complex number is complex number z say is multiplied by I the complex number is rotated by pi by 2 in the anti-clockwise direction without change in magnitude. 이런게 when a complex number is multiplied by I, the complex number is rotated by pi by 2 excuse me, in anti-clockwise direction without change in magnitude. Lenida complex number gi no another maru oiba hai taragadi complex numbers ina geometry ga algebra ga zo relate to honba ngamhalle mangondagi mathematics the one of the most beautiful equation in mathematics na khangnaba adu bukta adum derive to wasu yai hai tare sang da bida 10 tak na hayam ge sang da bida say adu yogdringai da ne let's find out the value of this base 10 lerakanda I gi log I gi value se kya hoidoino se so next page the person hogon padong male koi je kyam sangram na to je recording ji me kya sa kram no kangdri ni anyway 10 to the power a plus ib complex number natra kamai bi 10 power a 10 power ib so yeah go let's consider complex number x plus iy a complex number ama khanarse aduga problem sida b je pyramid khalase b je pyramid khalasi x ka y ga puthokna bona under the condition let's say ib x plus iy similar men khalase magi complex conjugate pam targadi mai dara minus ib la pinatra minus iy my complex conjugate and is into the origin ib minus ib kai tara iy jadi minus to 1 dar 10 was 0 dar ko 1 dar ni song gidi into to nardi sitai nang sai dagi tawram ni so x square plus y square se 1 na lejare sigi power sin yam pia kan when the power is very small कोई ना कमाएं जो ई आगे वो 10 power let's say epsilon and thumb से log की property वर्क तो नहीं को plus log 10 के तार 2.303 ना कोई इंसान बताओ 25 epsilon log 10 के idea 10 की नहीं को से so 10 power ib in thumb दिख में तो 1 plus 2.3025 ib कर्म का अंदर b is an p account for b tends to 0 so b is a umkena picture lagi yeng ase 10 power let's say I 1 by 1024 b is 1 by 1024 we target kai tarake bu 1 plus 0.002486 I muk tare so say je table lam lai ko table amu ulakkeabako sum si table se oh aina si talai si table se kino dai ni ko Feynman lecture ki first volume da chapter number I think chapter number 22 male chapter number 22 da my complex number ki takune ko aduda yaubadune ni se talai se si aina I b oidong ni si b oidong ni koi ki oina di value se makan makan sum sel la yeng bai tare value se makan makan sum sel la yeng kan sida puthok tu se koina puthok tu se log 10 I si natra si puthok ke hai taragadi kaino se ib se sigi value sina 0 chatpa jaga thi bai tare sum value se makan sillaga 1 dagi sum pictare sidagi chongre o minus sakre sigi marak sida leidoine 0 tab sigi 0 ta hok taragadi lemhok doise somgi value se kaktane adumain tawraga magi value se puthokpa yai so puthokpagi lambi dudi akoi mathematics department ta thamgraji finding the number for which the real part of ib 10 to the power ib is 0 will give log 10 of I is 0.226 I sumaina phange sum khanganing bai palamini ko and then another important part is imaginary exponents high grade kadai chakraina geometrical algebra ga kino toraktoini haise si laktoini ko si lakna ba lambi ni ko ina sum saurak ba haise yam detail oina di haidre so taking complex powers power of 10 taking successive power haitare powers of 10 akoina sumain to we 10 to the power 1 by 8 sigi ye magi so amma ulake ko my zero 10 to the power ip divided by 8 sigi p je power ne buko p ki value je 1 2 3 4 up to 24 mari yenge adai da tarak pa value me amni sida lai je sigi sina x part ni plus y ni si I ni z equal to x plus I y ento bodo adugi part ne sida gi akoina kai khangakke haibu plus among minus among plus among minus among ui ko plus among tari minus among tari x ki vairo plus among tari minus among tari plus among tari y ki vairo plus tare minus tare plus tare minus tare magi values hai it repeats itself the value of 10 to the power ib which was 10 to the power ib x plus iy na consider to gidana sigi values hai it repeats itself and it is also periodic so oi magi values repeat su tawai sigi value mayam se x ka y ga se plot tor kanda kai tarakke bu yengo sumain tarakpe wanit si I b duni koi gidi si b oi gadongni sida lei jine x ne point me am duni ko sida lei ba point me am jini ko plot tor kan tar ise dot kana mi je si plot to wai point ngak tani ko sida lei jidi x sida lei jidi kanagi mayek no si 0 leba kanda 1 taba 0 leba kanda 1 taba se leisida akoina handai khangzaraga leire. This is cos kine cos x niko leisida leise x agera b agera whatever cos step sida leisina kana kino sin gi amana cosine gi amana sin gi ne tarise isam zamba number exponent gi kai gi khala laura kana kai tare sin cos ka sumaina tarak pangame sini ko ngapuse sidi like ta kisu yawaroi sumaina de endo laye do khangna ba na ina zum uningdana tawlini. So instead of using base 10 power I b I pi mota khoi e on thok raji ko I s la kai on thok ji s I not t on thok jira sumaina or s am damagera where sigi s in some real number amoide. So e to the power I s ti kai tare x plus I y x plus I y is going to be equal to cos s plus I sin s. Yam pick it targadi s in yam pick it targadi small angle approximation log mutam the mind or e to the power I s equal to cos yam pick the magidi 1 thambi echo sin the yam pick rakan the more the observed I s in a lap object the me and 1 plus antaraga. So all of the various properties of these remarkable functions which come from taking imaginary powers are the same as sine and cosine of trigonometry. Sine and cosine of trigonometry sab manaraga lai lerme natra. So sumain tawdana algebra ga geometry ga punjanarakpi hitare. So one of the Richard Feynman masamang harami one of the most remarkable formula in mathematics is e to the power I theta equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So graph when ye ke de mayam tok de ba sumain lak pi ai x plus I y nin khala si r hello e to the power I theta no ibi adoini seisida koina r hapsalak matamda r hapsalak matam sida r hapak toini si angle jana theta hello si x ni si suma lage si x ni si y. So graphically sumaina hirasu yai e to the power torque was exponent torque was Euler formula na su leiko na polar form amasu na hai gibdo adu su hairam bana phadoi jala loidore dum hairam mages revision complete hoina bhai tar Euler na pai hai ko sige Euler na tab Euler's formula. So series expansion of e to the power x thangarangani handaki x squared by factorial niko 2 je khangye nang tawlamna cube divided by 3 factorial salary by x infinity ani ki mark lore negative ka positive ka. So complex ta on thoraxi 1 plus z squared by 2 factorial cube by 3 factorial and so on. So my like doing that. So sigi z se complex number ni complex number se da ma se pure imaginary ohela se pure imaginary number ohela se x to log to jai tare loi taragadi iy square 2 factorial 3 factorial 4 we go music setong harak toram ne dugi ni so I yaw kangu yaw da kangu like square right taragadi -1 and thola ni nadra yaw arroy 1 minus y square divided by 2 factorial and then square root of 4 la ni nadra 4 factorial and so on sumba kangu layer ni and then I yaw kangu 3 factorial 5 factorial and so on sidi akoina khangi series expansion series formula ni kana gi cos ki this is cos y selection kana gi sin y gi ಇದು ಹೌಜಿಕ್ತ ತಾಗಿಬಿದ್ದು ತಾರಾದ್ರ ಸಿದೈಸಿದನ್ನ ಸಾಂಗ್ನ ಕೈನೋ ತೋರಗ ನಂಬರ್ಗೆ ಈರ ಕೈನೋ ತೋರಗ ಹೋಟ್ಲಗ ತಾಜರಕ್ಪೈ ವಾನಿ ಜನರಲಿ ಅಕೋಯ್ನ ಯೆಂಗಬದದಿ ಸುಮಾಯ್ನನಿಕೋ cos y plus I sin y taret sigise Euler's formula na khangnei bisida leise so mathakti again duga something remarkable most beautiful equation in mathematics haibado hairake cos y I sin y natra so si leire sida y se pi 1 grab doi taragadi I pi cos pi sin pi sumai 1 gani cos 180 is -1 sin 180 is 0 aduna kai tare use e to the power I pi -1 is on the power ke plus 1 equal to 0 say in mathematics this is considered the most beautiful equation kaigino sigibu most beautiful equation na hai se hai taragadi I yaure imaginary unit se yaure e yaure pi yaure e ga pi ga se kaino most famous transcendental numbers I taragadi one which cannot be expressed as the root of a polynomial equation with rational coefficients and sejida yawi se kai su yaure 0 and 1 most fundamental of real number systems is quite fundamental of 0 and 1 is yaure si mayam je pulap yaw equation si bokoina quite the possible equation in mathematics na mayam na longney so exam de jong ak tong man nate ko most beautiful equation karam bano ga na sum khang na ba na sum hairam bai wani polar form amadom york na batoge yang si e to the power z e to the power x plus iy x iy so yai na tra doi d e to the power x cos y plus I sin y and so yai ko so the polar form of z se kamai yarge di z equal to r cos theta I sin theta mamang na tawgiba and hojik ta tawgiba I theta so sigi mong si jo koina polar form na dum khangnei yep se magisu mamang na tawgib dum maina dum leizei I theta ni minus ama hapok wa khakta ni r ta hok do chap manai ko exactly the same so ngasai hot kiba express sai hot kim do karamana z equal to minus 1 plus I in polar form da hairo hai matam da sumain tarsu yai root 2 tan theta z sambada yawidore theta z 3 pi by 4 ni natra the sigi mong sida hi ai taragadi z equal to root 2 e to the power minus I my polar forms loidore last time tanga hayam gadra so sigi above calculation zida in the above calculation we could have taken theta to be theta z 3 pi by 4 plus twice pi and lower vi or 3 pi by 2 plus twice pi into n hai tare ne n se ni integer oina lower so hi twice pi agar hapsala so ima manana dum answer se dum chumme hai tare if adubu theta zina 0 ga twice pi ga oirasu yai manung sida thamma adoi taragadi sida akoina khanariba theta ze principal argument na khangai principal argument of z to be precise so theta z argument of z plus twice pi n na thamzu yai theta naught plus twice pi n na lap yai sigi n is 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2 and so on mayam yagre sumaina lay video se sangman graman sida loire ko see you next time